walk on signs of the Day of Judgment and $30 to go in. Can you believe this? Hear what the Qur'an says for itself. You don't have to take what I say. I'm just ordinary. I've always been. We will always be. In chapter 7, verse 187. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا. They ask you, O Prophet, about the hour, when it will come. قُلْ, say to them, O Prophet, إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. The knowledge of that hour, if you understand the Arabic language, عِنْدَ, this expression عِنْدَ means it's localized with Allah. It's not with anybody else. عِنْدَ رَبِّي means عِنْدَهُ وَلَا عِنْدَكَ وَلَا عِنْدِي. It means it's with him and not with you and not with me. وَلَا عِنْدَ أَيِّ نَبِي. And it's not with any messenger. So the Qur'an says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا. They ask you, O Prophet, when this hour is coming. قُلْ إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. Say this knowledge is localized, figuratively speaking, with Allah. Mean particular, specific, restricted only to Allah. لَا يُجَلِّيهَا لِوَقْتِهَا إِلَّا هُ. Nobody has any inkling of a manifestation of it except him. ثَقُلَتْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Of course, this is a big issue. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's concerned about it. لَا تَأْتِيكُمْ إِلَّا بَغْتَةً. There is no signal to anybody when it's going to come. When everything is going to fall up, nobody knows when it's going to come. لَا تَأْتِيكُمْ إِلَّا بَغْتَةً. But people who are stubborn don't stop. They persist in asking the Prophet in the same verse. يَسْأَلُونَكَ كَأَنَّكَ حَفِيٌّ عَنْهَا. This word hafi, they ask you, O Prophet, as if you have some special insight. كَأَنَّكَ حَفِيٌّ عَنْهَا. قُلْ, say to them again, you people, as I said before, قُلْ إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. This knowledge is specific only to Allah. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ. But the majority of people, لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. They do not know. The amount of money that is spent to produce those books, and the amount of money that is gotten when those books are bought, if indeed these signs that these books mention were true from Allah, then tell me, how come the judgment didn't come yet? So it means the people of the time of the Prophet didn't benefit. Those signs didn't benefit them. Because when you threaten some people about signs, you're telling them, if you don't take care, this is going to happen. And these signs were supposed to have been said 1500 years ago. But people who are stubborn will remain stubborn. They were stubborn before the Messenger of God. They are stubborn throughout the ages. There are lots of stubborn people in our times, even among the community called Muslims. Because why? They are living not a real life. They are living on their culture and their tradition, and they are living on the remittance of lots of other people from their own backgrounds, who's going to pray for them and bless them and give them all the comforts. Whereas the book of Allah is meant to do what? It's meant to emancipate us. Because of time, I'll have to stop here. But I want to encourage you, if you have never done it before in your whole life, the best biography of the Prophet is not written by Ibn Ishaq or Ibn Hisham or Waqidi or all these other people whose names I could call but makes no sense right now here. The best biography of the Prophet, the best biographer of the Prophet is Allah. And the Muslim know the least about that. In conclusion, if indeed we had stuck to the Qur'an, we would not have manufactured lies about this Prophet. And one of the lies we manufactured is that he had slaves. That he had slaves. And the Qur'an says, مَا كَانَ لِلنَّبِيِّ مَا كَانَ لِنَبِيٍّ أَن يَكُونَ لَهُ أَسْرَى. That it was not becoming for him to have any slaves. If you go to the Muslim universities and you follow the regular course of studies, and I've been so I can tell you, there are textbooks about slaves and concubines having women without marriage and responsibility, and they accuse the beloved Prophet. That's why I say, this man that the Muslims claim to love is not Rasulullah fil Qur'an, is somebody else. Because the atrocities committed against people were never committed by the Prophet, and he never sanctioned it. I leave this with me and with you. Let us start to study the Qur'an. Let us become students of the Qur'an. Let us make time and sacrifice and put money aside to travel to learn the Qur'an. Let us not keep making excuses, because that's not going to help me or help you or help my family or your family. فَاسْتَغْفِرُوهُ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Dear brothers and sisters, reminders are for all of us. I especially who remind you with such passion and conviction, I stand first to be reminded. And I ask you to consider these as very genuine, very sincere, very honest reminders. They are not meant to do anything else but to wake us up and to jerk us from our sleep and to get us to start sitting down with the Qur'an to study it like never before. And I can assure you, if you start studying the Qur'an, changes will take place. Because then sense and intelligence, which perhaps were never there before, will overwhelm us. We ask Allah that the memory of His messengers be always fresh in our minds. That we love them, not emotionally only, but we should love them intellectually, practically. And we should love them through the books and the guidance that they brought, not necessarily through the stories that historians have written about them or after them. I ask Allah for life for myself and for you. And I ask that we do what's necessary and what's practical to enhance our life, to make our life full of hope and full of enlightenment. Because when we do so, we not only do so for our own enhancement, we are looked upon by our family, by our friends, by our relatives, and by community. Society needs you and me. Society needs people who can rise from the dead, not the physical. The Christians misunderstood Jesus as the Muslims have misunderstood Muhammad. The Christians say, and Jesus went to the grave of Lazarus and he says, Lazarus, come forth. And a dead man came out of the grave. So that's what they believe. And we too, when we read those kind of histories, we think that's possible.